Snooker, a game of precision, nerves, and pure drama. Over the years, we've witnessed epic battles, final frame thrillers, and moments that made history, from legendary comebacks to matches decided by the final black. This is not just a countdown. This is a journey through the top 10 greatest snooker matches of all time. Let's relive the magic. Starting off at number 10 is the 2010 World Championship Final between Neil Robertson and Dott. This match was a battle of wills, a tactical, slow-burning contest that tested both players mentally and physically. Neil Robertson, the rising star from Australia, was aiming to make history, and he did. With incredible composure and long potting skills, he defeated Dott 18-13. In doing so, he became the first Australian world champion in the modern era, and proved that snooker wasn't just a British game anymore, a global moment and a well-deserved place on this list. At number 9, we have one of the craziest deciding frames in snooker history, the 2020 World Championship semifinal between Kyren Wilson and Anthony McGill. The match was already intense, but the final frame took it to a whole new level, full of flukes, fouls, and wild safety exchanges. Both players looked on the edge of collapse, but it was Wilson who eventually held his nerve and won 17-16. The moment he sank the final ball, he fell to the floor in disbelief, and the snooker world knew we had just witnessed something unforgettable. At number 8, we have a classic, the 2003 UK Championship semi-final between Hendry and Mark Williams. Hendry, once the king of the Crucible, was past his prime, while Williams was the reigning world champion and world number 1. But in a stunning display, Hendry turned back the clock. He went shot for shot with Williams, producing vintage long pots and calm breaks under pressure. At 8-8, it all came down to a deciding frame, and Hendry delivered. A composed clearance gave him a 9-8 victory, reminding the world that legends never truly fade. It was one of Hendry's last great moments, and it was unforgettable. At number 7, it's the 2022 World Championship Final, a dream matchup between Ronnie O'Sullivan and Judd Trump, the master versus the magician. Ronnie was chasing history, his record equaling 7th world title. He started strong, taking a commanding lead, but Judd showed real heart with a late surge in the final session. Still, Ronnie's brilliance was undeniable. With an 18-13 win, he didn't just lift the trophy. He tied Hendry's record and sealed his place as the greatest of all time. And in a touching moment, he broke down in tears during the embrace with Trump. A final that was pure class, on and off the table. At number 6, it's the ultimate underdog story. Shaun Murphy versus Matthew Stevens, the 2005 World Championship Final. Murphy came into the tournament as a qualifier, ranked 48th in the world. Nobody expected him to get past the first round, but he kept defying the odds, knocking out top seeds one by one. In the final, he faced the experienced Matthew Stevens, but with fearless potting and nerves of steel, Murphy played like a champion. He won 18-16, becoming the first qualifier to win the world title in 26 years. A magical run that earned him the nickname, the Magician. It was pure snooker folklore. At number 5, we have a tactical masterclass, the 2017 World Championship semifinal between Mark Selby and Ding Junhui. Ding was playing some of the best snooker of his career, desperate to become China's first world champion. But standing in his way was the ultimate grinder, Mark Selby. The match was tense, strategic, and mentally exhausting. Frame after frame, Selby slowed the game down, forcing errors and capitalizing on every mistake. Ding fought hard, but Selby's resilience was unmatched. He edged it 17-15, then went on to win the final. It wasn't flashy, it was fierce. A semifinal that showed just how brutal snooker can be at the highest level. At number 4, we have one of the most shocking moments ever seen on a snooker table. Ronnie O'Sullivan versus Hendry, 2006 UK Championship. It started like a normal quarterfinal, but midway through the 6th frame, with Ronnie trailing 4-1, he did the unthinkable. He walked up to Hendry, shook his hand, and conceded the match. Right there, in the middle of the frame. The crowd was stunned. Hendry was speechless. Ronnie simply walked out of the arena. It wasn't about skill or score. It was a moment that reminded everyone of the raw emotion behind the sport. Unpredictable, unfiltered, and unforgettable. At number 3, it's the 2018 World Championship Final. A true classic between Mark Williams and John Higgins. Just a year earlier, Williams didn't even qualify for the World Championship. But in 2018, at 43 years old, he made a fairy tale comeback. In a high-quality final full of heavy scoring and relentless pressure, Williams edged out Higgins 18-16, claiming his third world title, 15 years after his last. And true to his word, he attended the post-match press conference completely naked. It was a win filled with skill, heart, and humor. A legendary moment in snooker history. At number 2, it's heartbreak like no other. Stephen Hendry versus Jimmy White, the 1994 World Championship Final. White had already lost 5 finals before this, but in '94 it looked like his moment. He led Hendry 17-14, just one frame away from finally lifting the title. But Hendry did what Hendry does. He won 4 straight frames, crushing White's dreams in the cruelest way possible. As the final black dropped, White smiled, but you could see the pain. For many fans, it was the greatest final that never went the right way, a classic and a tragedy. And at number 1, it could only be Davis versus Taylor, the 1985 World Championship Final. The most iconic snooker match ever played. Davis raced to an 8-0 lead. It looked over, but Taylor clawed his way back, frame by frame, pushing it to 17-17. The final frame lasted over an hour. Millions were glued to their screens as it came down to the final black ball, just past midnight. And then, Taylor sunk it. The crucible erupted. Over 18 million people watched live, the most in snooker history. This wasn't just a snooker match. It was a British sporting legend, born on the bays. That wraps up our list of the greatest snooker matches ever played. Which one gave you goosebumps? Let us know in the comments. And if you love snooker as much as we do, like, subscribe, and hit the bell. We've got more coming soon.